Alright, so the new Aliens Dark Descent game came out a couple of days ago, and unless you're really following the game, love the IP, you might not have known this game even launched. I barely heard about it a couple days ago too. Why wasn't there a lot of marketing around this? Or maybe just I didn't see it, who knows. But anyways, this is a new game in the Alien video game franchise. It's a completely new original story, gameplay that is simple but complex at the same time. What does that even mean? But anyway, here's my initial thoughts going into this and then my overall review. I went in really excited. You know, it started off with a nice cutscene, really atmospheric, but then I disliked the first couple of hours. Now, this is just a testament to the tutorial, the prologue. It is very slow, but that's just to get people into the world, and I think they really want people to just know everything, all the mechanics of the gameplay going in, because you know, this is definitely one where you don't want to skip any of the tutorial. But I do have to say the game does pick up later on when more and more mechanics unlock, systems and systems just keep building on top of each other. So let's start with a little bit of the story. So the overall, starting story here is nothing new. If you do like aliens, you know, the bad guys want to use the Xenomorph aliens, so they let them loose on a cargo ship and they want to set them all over the world, use them as weapons, I think. So you play as a higher up admin on this shipping ship and you have to stop them, so you end up blowing up a lot of people. Unfortunately, it had to happen, and then you end up isolating the aliens on a planet where you crash land and you can't get any signals out to anyone else, so you're just stuck there on this planet with lots of little towns everywhere with a band of Marines on a crashed ship that is going to be used as your base. You primarily are going to be taking a control of soldiers on missions, and then later on, not to spoil it, but you have to leave the planet in a hurry for some reason, which is the later half of the game. Alright, so the gameplay in this game, to kind of symbolize it, think if XCOM was mixed with real-time tactics. So you have a squad of people running around and you are controlling them in isometric view, running around, picking up items, doing missions, submissions, etc. So here is the gameplay loop in a nutshell. The missions you're going to go on are on large, persistent maps, and you're going to be unlocking more of the map as you play. You're going to be leaving and playing and leaving and playing the same map. You're going to be putting together a group of soldiers, 4 of them, and they all have different weapons. Well, you're going to be unlocking new stuff later, but they got weapons, perks. So you're going to be exploring the map, doing main missions such as escort stuff, defeating aliens, submissions. You have limited resources going in. Your characters are powerful at the start. You have really nice, assault rifles, but then you only have a certain amount of clips. You can find more tools, you can find more clips, but then you're going to be running into a lot of xenomorphs and other aliens like facehuggers and stuff like that. You're going to be using skills and tactics. To give you some example of those things, you have a sort of a motion detector radar. On your mini-map, you can see if anything's moving around. You can see little pips. You have sentry guns you could put down. You can use tools to weld doors, etc. So that's a little bit of the gameplay. Now let's go into the good and the bad. There is a lot to like, but I do wish some things were different. So let's start with the good stuff, the really, really high points. The game has amazing atmosphere. Some people have been saying if you've played games like Alien Isolation, you're kind of going to get the same feeling here, where though it's not first person, you're not looking around the corners, listening behind to see if any of the xenomorphs there, it still has that same feel, where you are just 4 humans, and sometimes you go down to 3 or 2 or 1 if you lose some people, but basically, you don't know where the xenomorphs are coming from unless, you look at the vents, you see the ambushes, you put down the sentry meter so you can see things around you. They're coming, and you don't know when it's going to pop up. I mean, for the most part, but it's pretty scary. So the atmosphere is good. I love the push your luck aspect. I did mention that this is a persistent map. You're going to complete as much as you can, find as many resources you can, and then get back with your people alive, or as much as you can. So the reason why it is a persistent map, it's because when you go into a map to do your stuff, you're basically on a sort of tension-filled timer where the longer you stay, the more fights you get, your characters get stressed out. You can lower stress by going into rooms, welding them down and chillaxing for a bit, taking down enemies, but the more stress you have, the more debuffs your characters have, like less accuracy and stuff like that. But there is a aliens timer that goes up, so the longer you stay, the more noise you make, the more enemies you kill, and more hordes will attack you. Nest will start spawning enemies, and if you don't make it out alive with your stuff, you're gonna have to redo it with really low tier level 1 characters. So there's your push your luck. Get as much as you can, get to the car, and then extract what you can and get out. But one thing that is stopping you from picking up one thing, leaving, refilling with ammo, coming back, and doing the same thing over and over again, kind of cheesing it, is when you go back to your base, you have an overall alien timer. So every single time you go back in, because days pass by, it is going to get a little bit harder, and overall the campaign is going to get rough. So the push your luck aspect is real there. There's not just fighting, as I mentioned. There's stress and there's stealth. Really, there is. You have to hide behind stuff. You can take cover and just let the enemies go in their little patrols, because you are limited on all of your resources. There's actual planning ahead to survive. I like the roguelike mechanics with losing some characters permanently. There's difficulty of like easy, normal, hard, very hard, extremely hard, and that not only affects the resources you find, the character's health, the enemy's damage, but also the amount of saves you could have. There's no manual saving here. It saves every at a certain intervals, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or only at the beginning of missions, depending on the difficulty you're on. So along with the atmosphere, it also ramps it up, knowing that you just can't cheese the game by pressing F5, I lost the guy, I'm gonna press F9. No, it kind of rolls you back in that regard. Okay, what else? Good solid difficulty. Yeah. Okay, so it's also real time. You can pause whenever an enemy comes up, or you can slow it down so you can play it real time as well. Now moving on to some of the bad stuff. As mentioned at the beginning of the review here, very slow starts. But I understand it's to learn the ropes. It's to set up the base of why your character is in the particular situation you guys are in. I get it. It's fine. But that is the first hour plus. So if you can get through it, and you like strategy games, you might find something amazing here. One thing that really irked me when I first started as well is you are controlling a squad of 4 characters, optimismly. Is that a word? But when you make a command to move, for example, your whole squad moves and you cannot individually select characters. This is really crappy at the beginning, and the reason why I think they did this is to make it more simple, to streamline it for people who don't necessarily play like hardcore, classic RPGs, like Pathfinder and Divinity and stuff like that. So you can't just like, okay, I'm gonna move this guy here, I'm gonna slow down time, I'm gonna have this one kite the enemy this way, then we're gonna ambush it. You can't do that. You can't. You click the ground and they walk, and then they automatically shoot anything that is in their path. And though you have some skills that you can set to one character at a time, like okay, like you use a shotgun, blast them. You suppressive fire this way. You're still moving as a unit. So I get it. They want to streamline it, but I really wish that you could control them, because there are some situations where they're kind of locked in a formation. So if an enemy comes up, you have a character with 1 health left, 3 other characters with full health, and you can't move them around. It's really dumb that way. Maybe I'm missing something, so let me know if you guys know what to do about that. But that's one thing that I'm just like, I wish you can control them. But yeah, okay, I get it. It's completely fine. The voice lines are a little too much as well. They have some funny ones like the game over, man, game over. They have that little Easter egg in there. But then almost every single time, it's like the same 5 to 10 lines your character shouts. And this is supposed to be a really atmospheric, stealthy game. So, you're trying to hide from an enemy and your guy goes, run! Oh yeah, let's walk over here. Yeah, let's go, guys. It's a little weird. It's cool if it was like when you aren't tension-filled up hiding, but it is what it is. Let's see. There's not much customization for the character's looks as well. Some people have been reporting bugs. For me in particular, when I was playing, I had slight performance issues For example, really high resource usage. I had to turn down the graphics a little bit. But overall, I would definitely recommend this game to people who just like the Alien franchise. You can do worse, honestly, if you like isolation, but you're not sure if you want to play a real-time tactics game. I would say there's enough here that they slow roll you into it, so you will learn and have a good time and be able to use everything to your advantage. I do have to say, if you are not paying attention, you really don't think about the path you're going to, you know, everything you do is pretty meaningful because everything's on a timer. So it is a little rough that way. This game is good for Iron Man players. But yeah, as I mentioned, they try to simplify things with the full squad only controls, but you know, you do get more weapons, you get new skills, level up perks. I think this is just a good package mechanically. Overall, you might not be a fan of the sound effects, the graphics, or the cheesy cutscenes, but if you can overlook all of that and you can get a little bit further in the game, it's just like the system just starts to come together. It's a great game loop. The persistency of the maps make it so it feels more intimate. Like, okay, I had to leave, but I remember seeing something over there. Maybe we can try to get there this time and then, you know, keep moving. It's like you're building your own pathway, even though it's like a gigantic map. It's like, it's interesting. You know, how to approach fights, when to stealth, when to leave, the tension-filled atmosphere. You can do worse. I think it's a really fun game if you just don't take it too seriously. So that's it. If you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll be uploading the footage on my Let's Play channel, link down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.